Dearly beloved, we have gathered here today to get through this thing called Mix CD. My name is Mike, part of the SPDM crew, and I love making Mix CDs. Each week, we give our guests a theme and an 80-minute time limit for which songs they're going to pick for their Mix CD. This week, I'm going to recount some of the songs that I enjoyed and I loved the most when I went to country night in college. So I went to Eastern Illinois University, and there was a bar called Sticks. Eventually, it was called the Panther Paw, and it hosted country night every Wednesday at 9 o'clock, or every Wednesday night. So the first time that I ever gone to country night, it was my 21st birthday. I don't remember much of it, and it was after student government, so I didn't really get a chance to do much beyond that. And country night or Wednesday night was always tricky because had student government and then would go to country night right afterwards. And at first, it was something that I went to because I enjoyed going with friends. There was a couple guys in my fraternity that would frequently go to country night. But in reality, what it turned into was, boy, I really enjoyed the line dancing. And not to toot my own horn, I was pretty fucking good at it too. So, but not only that, just there was just a group of guys that, or a group of people rather, that would just consistently be line dancing, and there would be some that would get like a larger crowd, usually the easier ones and the easier to teach ones. But then there were some that were super tricky and kind of a way to kind of show off in a sense. So, and those were the ones that I love doing as well because those were faster, those were trickier, those didn't get a whole lot of people to get out on the dance floor, and it was just the people that like actually cared about being a country night. So in honor of that, I wanted to just showcase some of the music that for me in the years that I did country night were just kind of the highlights. In no particular order, we have, and this is probably the newest song that's on this list, but it's Chicken Fried by Zach Brown Band. And it was one of those songs that some of the nice thing about some of these songs is that you could pick a couple of different songs based on the crowd. So if it was a dance that would be easier and would get more people on the floor, then there's a chance that you choose that one instead of one that was a little bit more complicated and that not a whole lot of people were actually willing to do. So Chicken Fried was one where you do a very specific type of dance for it. It is a bit of a faster song, so it was kind of always tricky. But that also doesn't change the fact that Chicken Fried was just a great song. I believe it came out like either 2008 or 2009, but it's a great song. Red High Heels by Kelly Pickler. This was one where you have people kind of just, God, I'm starting to struggle a little bit with some of the dances that we did, but Red High Heels by Kelly Pickler. This was one that it was one where you usually just like split up into like two different crowds. You have one line on one side, one line on the other. They're facing each other, and then there's a part where you come towards the middle and then you split off. There's a couple dances or a couple songs like that in this, and those were always kind of interesting. It's the first line dance that I actually learned how to do, so that was always just kind of fun for that. Life is a Highway by Rascal Flatts. This was probably the most difficult dance that we had, and it was also the or not only it was difficult, it was the one that required the most endurance. So that was back in the day when I was just in way better shape. So Life is a Highway by Rascal Flatts. This was popular with the Cars movies, so this is definitely one that got the blood going, and yeah, this one was really good. Similar to the song, to the dance for Red High Heels, if you're going through hell if you're going through hell before the devil even knows, by Rodney Atkins. That's the same dance that we would do for the Red High Heels song as well, so that was a lot of fun. Another song that would do this same dance is Kerosene by Miranda Lambert. So Those are fun. There were a handful of slower songs that we did that kind of was a little waltzy in a way, and it is one that you could do with a partner. But if you're doing it solo, it was also kind of just like a really cool thing where you're kind of it just kind of feels like you're swaying a little bit at times, and it was always really cool. And the best song for me to do that song or do that is Neon Moon by Brooks and Dunn. Could also do that to Wasted by Carrie Underwood as well, but that actually did not make the cut because I I think for the most part I tried to keep most of these artists to one song per artist, except for one, which I will reveal soon enough. At the time, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy by Big and Rich was very popular. This was one of those simple ones. This was a pretty generic line dance that literally anyone could do. Very electric slidey in a way, but it was one that anybody who, in reality, anybody who liked to line dance at country night, we would at least try to throw our own flair into it and just have a little fun that way. Watermelon Crawl by Tracy Bird. We actually named the dance associated with this the Watermelon Crawl because it was just the easiest way to identify it. The same thing with like the Life is a Highway one. We call it like we would look at each other as like Life is a Highway. It's like, yep, okay. We've got Brad Paisley had a couple songs at the time that were really popular for us at country night. The one I picked for this is The World. It was one that a little bit on the faster side and kind of do a similar dance as some of the other faster ones that were a little bit more complicated. So I really enjoyed that. But I did want to give a shout out to Brad Paisley's Mud on the Tires and Online because those were songs that would come up a lot, but they just didn't make the cut for this. I had to go with, to me, the goat of country music, which is Garth Brooks, and fully want to acknowledge also that this is a separating art from the man type of situation where he has been accused of sexual assault, and I want to acknowledge that. And I did want to kind of pick this though because Garth Brooks had a couple songs that were just paramount to country night, and I wanted to make sure that I do acknowledge it because it was something that was like really important to me growing up. So, and as for somebody who didn't really like country music before I got to country night, I really enjoyed Garth Brooks' "Call in Baton Rouge." Just a great song. A couple Keith Urban songs also didn't make the cut for this. The song I picked was Better Life. This was one that had a simpler dance, but it was still a lot of fun to do. But shout out also to Days Go By and to Sweet Thing by Keith Urban as well. So both of those were played pretty often. This was also the dawn of Carrie Underwood, and Before He Cheats came up a lot, and it was a great song to do. We kind of had like a toe tap type of song that we could do as well. That was really fun. This one is probably the oldest song on this list. It's Fancy by Reba McEntire. It's one of those timeless songs that we really liked, along kind of with like Garth Brooks's "I Got Friends in Low Places," which I think some people don't like that as much as others, but it's still a fun song. Kind of along with Zach Brown Band, "Good Time" by Alan Jackson was one that was played quite a bit towards the latter end. And this is Alan Jackson kind of capitalized on kind of a strategy that was kind of starting to become way more popular at the time was, hey, if you're going to have a song, what else you should have with your song? A dance so that it is unique. And the Good Time dance was tricky to say the least. It was something that a lot of us kind of had to just learn as we go and kind of just pick it up. But just like all of these dances, it's really about repetition, practice, and just sticking with it. That's the biggest thing. I got Trouble, or it's called Trouble, even though it's just Trouble by Travis Tritt. Shout out to Great Day to Be Alive as well, because that's a very popular Travis Tritt song that came up during country night, but I ended up just picking this one because it was really good. What Was I Thinking by Dirks Bentley. Baby Likes to Rock It by the Tractors, which severely underrated I think out of all of these, like everybody's at least heard of one song by most of these people, except maybe Tracy Bird and the Tractors. So if anything, check those two out, and those are really good. Suds in the Bucket by Sarah Evans and All Jacked Up by Gretchen Wilson. The combination of all of those were faster songs that you would play typically towards the end of the night. Those were kind of, as lame as this sounds, we who did a lot of the country music dancing would call those like our showstopper songs, but those were always a lot of fun. But the last song I have on my list, this is my second Garth Brooks song because this is one where this was the second dance that I learned, and this is where also I fell in love with country line dancing as well. And it's "Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Goes Up" or comes up, or "Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up" by Garth Brooks. This was one of our more complicated dances because it kind of it involves a lot of movement. It involves kind of just staying in beat, and yeah, it's tricky, but it's also a ton of fun. So those are the songs that I have on here. I guarantee you I missed a bunch of them, and admittedly I did also not include a bunch because I wanted to try to get as many different artists as possible, but maybe I'll do a volume two with this. In reality, there's probably not enough for a volume two, but and then the final part to this is that the album cover with this would be the sign outside of Styx or the Panther Paw that said Wednesday night or Wednesday's country night. Yeah, those were amazing times. It just sucks that they stopped doing country night a while ago, but more importantly, the bar is called Styx or Panther Paw, unfortunately closed, which breaks my heart to no extent because that was probably the bar that I went to the most when I was in college. So yeah, tell me something about your college memory, or just a particular moment in your life post high school that you want to showcase. If you have any ideas for any of the other any of the other things, just let me know, and we will get those on the list. Well, my friends, the time has come to end this episode of Mix CD. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to anything and everything SPDM Crew wherever you get your podcast. Join us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, YouTube, and Blue Sky at SPDM Crew. Check out our website soon to be out at spdmcrew.com. You can follow our playlist on Spotify and Apple Music at Mike Hilty. Shout out to High Flyer Creative Studios for making our awesome logo. Greatly appreciate their support. And if you have any marketing, logo, or brand standard needs, contact them at highflyercreative.com. If you've got a podcast idea or you're interested in being part of the SPDM crew as a guest or collaborating, email us at spdmcrew@gmail.com. Until next time, no matter what happens now, you shouldn't be afraid because I know today has been the most perfect day I've ever seen.